victims of circumstance and a refugee from a failed romance, sit around my table and raise a glass, just to help each other out. We find something to be thankful about. It helps make the evening pass. And if that's all it takes to set things right, a home-cooked meal and each other's company tonight, then I will roast a turkey, I will bake a pie, and you can sit at my table anytime you like. He lost his father late last spring, took care of his affairs, all the little things, dealt with his sadness and his grief. Holidays bring up the past, old memories are built to last. Our conversation brings relief. And if that's all it takes to set things right, a home-cooked meal and each other's company tonight, then I will roast a turkey, I will bake a pie, you can sit at my table anytime you like. She thought she'd meet his folks this year, but he went home early, that made it clear. This time they were really through. And I had plans to go somewhere, but the weatherman just didn't care. Now I celebrate with you. And if that's all it takes to set things right, a home-cooked meal and each other's company tonight, then I will roast a turkey, and I will bake a pie. You can sit at my table anytime you like. You can sit at my table anytime you like. You can sit at my table anytime you like.
Yeah, sure. Give it up for Friction Farm. Thank you, our special guests this morning. And welcome to the Unitarian Universalists of Transylvania County, where we really mean it when we say welcome. We are not concerned with where your parents were born, or whom you love, or what languages you can or can't speak. We're not concerned with whether you're a cat person or a dog person, or whether your skin is adorned with freckles or wrinkles or ink, or where your spiritual journeying has taken you. We welcome all who come with open hearts and goodwill. I'm Vanessa Cowie. I'm your worship associate this morning, here where our mission is to support individual spiritual journeys and to promote social, economic, and environmental justice. Here, we believe there is strength in community, and it grows when we share our deep and particular sorrows and joys in this community. I don't believe we've had anyone write a note and light a candle this morning, but in case you have not had a chance, I invite you, if you have a deep joy or sorrow in your heart this morning, to raise your hand to be recognized. And Kevin Lausch will assist me by lighting candles. Reverend Nancy there.
I have a joy, and that is that yesterday, for the first time ever, the Rainbow Alliance marched in the Christmas parade here in Transylvania County. And I want to thank it was great. It was really great. We were a little bit nervous because, there was some unhappy incidents back in the fall. But we were very well received. We had a fun time. People were very enthusiastic. And I really want to thank the people at this church for supporting us, for walking with us, for just being a place where we can feel at home. And yeah, thank you.
Nancy with a joy, and I'm repeating into the microphone so that all can hear and so that those at home can hear. A candle of joy for the support coming from this place to the Rainbow Alliance. And I cannot see who that is in the back, but
It is moi.
it is moi.
Well, I was at the parade yesterday here with the folks, and something that just showed me a little glimmer of hope. I noticed all of these people coming by from different groups that certainly are not necessarily in the same politics and everybody was just saying Merry Christmas. I was almost surprised. All of them, every person was saying Merry Christmas. The people on the street, the people in the cars, they didn't care. They just wanted something joyous. And I was very pleasantly surprised. It was wonderful to see that. So there's still a glimmer of hope that we can learn to love each other.
Thank you. And please do tell me your name. I'm nearsighted. John, thank you. Another candle of joy for support, not just from UUTC, but from the whole community watching the parade yesterday. A candle of joy again. I see another hand here.
I'm Marcia Coe, and my joy is that my grandson Dylan and his partner Bone are here today. And we're sorry we weren't at the parade yesterday, but yeah, so we're very grateful for being part of the community.
Thank you. A candle of joy from Marcia Coe for her grandson and his partner being here today with us, and maybe a little bit of sorrow for missing the parade. Any other hands? Thank you.
Just a joy for being home. I've been gone a lot lately with my sister in Pennsylvania who's battling cancer, and she's medically stable, and I'm able to be home with my family. So very, very grateful.
Candle of joy for being home after dealing with sorrowful issues with family. And that's from Kelly Alwyn. Thanks. Wonderful. Let's have another candle for those who may have shared in the chat this morning if they're watching live online, and then a candle for any joys or sorrows that are unvoiced at this time. But we encourage you to share over coffee or in other venues. Thank you, Kevin. So many activities this month. Don't depend on me for all the details or even all the events that are coming up. But I'll hit a few highlights, and you can check your email newsletter or the website at uutc.org to get more information, or just ask your neighbors. Next weekend, join us for caroling and cookies on Saturday at 4 p.m., Saturday, December 9th. You're invited to wear your holiday finery, even if it includes ugly sweaters. Especially if it's ugly sweaters. Yeah. Next Sunday is Super Sunday. Sign up to bring a soup to share at the front desk, or just plan to stay after service and share a meal with us. And Reverend Bob will be offering a Vespers service that same evening, Sunday, December 10th, called at 5 o'clock, called Somber Holiday, and it's especially for those who are hurting or grieving or brokenhearted at this time that's otherwise celebratory. And on Friday, December 15th, from 5 to 8, kids aged 3 to 10 are invited to an evening of pizza, games, and making. There is a charge, and there are also scholarships, so talk to Kevin Lausch or Tricia Wesley for more information. And we have so much more coming up. There's the solstice service, our annual service for winter solstice on Thursday, the 21st, also a Vespers service at 5 p.m. And just stay in touch. Our charitable partner this month is an exception. Usually we reach out to local organizations for our sharing of our plate. But once a year, we do share with the Unitarian Universalist Social Service Committee. I should say this year we are sharing with the UUSC, and they carry our mission forward not only locally, but nationally and internationally as well. And we have a short video introducing you to the UUSC.
UUSC is an international human rights organization. We're grounded in the principles of Unitarian Universalism and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. At UUSC, we seek to advance human rights, dismantle systems of oppression, and uphold the inherent dignity and worth of every human being.
Founded in 1940, UUSC addresses the needs of people who've been ignored or overlooked, working in places where the larger aid agencies often do not.
We are committed to building upon a legacy that is rooted in locally led initiatives, working hand in hand, eye to eye, and heart to heart with community leaders and grassroots organizations in the United States and around the world.
Today, UUSC has over 30,000 members, partnering with more than 40 grassroots organizations. Our programs span across 20 countries in Asia, the South Pacific, Central America, and the United States.
We do our work in 3 ways: through advocacy and action with UU congregations, UUSC members, and our incredible volunteers; through education and experiences with the UU College of Social Justice; and through grant-making, convenings, and collaborative research.
With our partners, we address human rights issues including disaster justice, emergency relief in the face of natural or human-made crises, climate action, working with communities who are losing their homes due to climate change, and criminalization, partnering with communities who are targeted simply for their activism of being who they are: immigrants, LGBTQ people, and ethnic and religious minorities.
And this past year, we have been working with our grassroots partners to meet the unique human rights challenges presented by the COVID-19 crisis.
We know that UUSC members expect us to always be learning and be bold in our programming and our commitment to human rights.
We want you to have confidence in our work. UUSC is a terrific investment for your philanthropic support. Our budget goes far to accomplish so much for human rights in the U.S. and around the world.
And for 10 years running, UUSC has earned 4 stars, the highest possible rating from Charity Navigator, because of our effectiveness and fiscal transparency.
It is an exciting time at UUSC. We are grateful to you and to all of our members for your partnership and for putting your faith in us. You make our work possible. Thank you.
Thank you, UUSC supporters.
Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you so much for your support.
And thank you for putting your faith in us.
For all that you do to advance human rights.
We really appreciate it.
You couldn't do the work we do around the world without you.
Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't forget to introduce our musical duo, Friction Farm. It's Christine's Day, and Aidan and Quinn. Thank you, I'm sorry. They will get a fuller and more accurate, probably, introduction later this morning. But in the meantime, I want you to know who they are. And now, before I turn it over to Christine for opening words, let's take a moment to recognize the inherent worth and dignity in each of us with a brief greeting, nod, or namaste.
I have walked a great while over the snow, and I am not tall or strong. My clothes are wet, my teeth are set, and the way was hard and long. I have wandered over the fruitful earth, but I never came here before. Oh, lift me over the threshold and let me in at the door. Those opening lines from the poem Witch by Mary Elizabeth Coleridge, they hold so much possibility of discovery. We're always at a new threshold. Do we cross over? Do we lift others over?
Now you can rise. Or, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Our opening hymn is Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. If you're a book person, that's number 361. And if you will rise in body or spirit as you are willing and able, and sing with us.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
I didn't mean to cover y'all up.
You just can't do anything with that guy. We now move more deeply into our worship service by lighting our chalice. And once again, I've asked Kevin if he will assist. And we will light it with the words of Sarah Eileen Lawal, Out of the Flames. Out of the flames of fear, we rise with courage of our deepest convictions to stand for justice, inclusion, and peace. Out of the flames of scrutiny, we rise to proclaim our faith with hope to heal a fractured and hurting world. Out of the flames of doubt, we rise to embrace the mystery, wonder, and awe of all there is and all that is yet to be. Out of the flames of hate, we rise with the force of love that celebrates our shared humanity. Out of the flames, we rise. And now, in the Christian tradition, Advent is the period of the 4 Sundays leading up to Christmas. And so we'll continue this tradition with words from the UUA's worship coordinator, Erica Hewitt, adapted a little bit. And as I said, in the Christian tradition, Advent is the 4 Sundays, but in the tradition of people who center the earth and nature in their worship, they've gathered evergreens and lit fires for thousands of years to celebrate the promise of the continuing cycle of light and dark and light. This is the time in the Northern Hemisphere when days are shortest, when cold settles in, and when people need the cheer brought by the promise of light and warmth. So we UUs have adopted these traditions. As we light one more candle each Sunday, beginning with the lowest, this Advent wreath symbolizes our waiting experience, and we spiral upward. Week by week, the candles remind us that fear and hopelessness recede as more warmth enters the world. The flame of each new candle reminds us that more is yet to come. Thank you. So on this first Sunday in Advent, we light the candle of hope with the words of Macrina Wiederkehr, a Benedictine monastic. She writes, I was just thinking one morning during prayer how much alike hope and baking powder are. Quietly getting what is best in me to rise, awakening the hint of eternity within. May this candle awaken the best in us, connect us to the eternal, and give life to our hope. Now I'm going to call Kevin forward one more time to share words of wisdom for all ages.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Kevin Lausch, and I get the joy of working with the kids and youth here at UUTC. And our book today is one we've used before in other years, but it's December by Eve Bunting, illustrations by David Diaz. And in this month of December, our theme is mystery, and we explore the mysteries all around us. The mystery of hope in times of struggle and in times of chaos and war. The mysteries of the world around us and how beautiful it is in spite of sometimes what we do to it as humans. And this book is a great book about the mystery of how we love and help each other. December. Let's make sure I am doing this right. There we go. Okay. My mother and I live in a house we made ourselves. There's black printing on the walls and floor. Words say things like drink Coca-Cola, handle with care, or Clorox. We have a baby food baby on the roof. Our house is small. There's just room for us and what we have. But tonight is Christmas Eve, so there's a little more. We have a tiny tree. It's the top of a real tree the Christmas lot man gave us. We hung it with neat things. There's a toy soldier I kept since I was little, a shiny silvery spoon, beads from a necklace I once found on the sidewalk, and Mom made a star for the top. Under the tree, on a paper Santa plate, are 2 Christmas cookies, one red and one green. I collected 32 soda pop cans and took them to John's Market to get those cookies. John gave me the plate. On our wooden crate are Mary, the baby, one shepherd, and one sheep. We tried to make the soldier into Jesus, but he just didn't look right. We have a fat red candle, too. We won't light that candle, Simon, Mom says. We could start a fire, then we'd have no house at all. I understand, and we don't need light. The street lamps outside kind of shines through the walls all night long. Still, the candle would be nice. I lie beside Mom under the heavy coat that she says once belonged to my dad. The streetlight shimmers on our Christmas angel. She is a page torn from a calendar, and she's pinned to the wall. Her name is December. She sings to us while we sleep, Mom says. Sometimes, if a noise wakes us up in the night, a garbage truck or a city bus going along Sepulveda, I keep my eyes closed and listen for the angel song, but I've never heard it. Tonight it's a different noise that wakes me. Someone is thumping on our door, which isn't a door at all, just a piece of wood propped up against the opening we made. The thumping scares me. Maybe they're going to make us move from here, but not when tomorrow's Christmas. Please, not when tomorrow's Christmas. Thump, thump. My heart thumps too. Who's there? Mom stands and tries to push me behind her, but I get in front. I always look out for her. Who's there? Nobody answers. Mom slides the wood so she can peer out, then lifts the door away. We see an old woman. She's half hidden in clothes on top of clothes. Her black hat has a fake rose pinned to it. Can I come in, she asks. I'm so cold. Mom looks her over carefully. On the streets, we have to be careful. Then she takes the old woman's arm. Come on in. The woman is bent way over, but I think that is how she is, and not because our roof is so low. Sometimes I'm afraid my mom will get bent over like that. Can I sleep here tonight, the woman asks. Yes. Mom takes the coat that's still warm from being over us. Wrap up in this, she says. The woman sits on the floor with my father's coat over her muddle of clothes. I'm wondering if it's Christmas yet. That's a beautiful tree, she says. I nod. Here, she takes off her hat and unpins the rose. Put this on it. You don't want it, I ask? Put it close to the star, she tells me. I do, and it looks good. I see her staring at the cookies. She's probably hungry. She swallows, and her neck is so thin I can watch the swallow go down. I think something very nice that I could do, but I try not to listen to that thought because I don't want to do it. I put out my hand, and I pull it back, and I put it out again, and I lift the Santa plate. Have the green one, I say. She takes it slowly and eats it slowly. I try hard not to think about all those soda cans. Mom smiles at me. I'm glad when she doesn't offer to give up her red cookie, too, because I'm pretty sure tomorrow she'll go halfers on it with me. There's just enough room for the three of us to lie side by side. It's warm here, the old woman says, and she smiles. It's warm with love. Maybe, but still, I miss the weight of my dad's coat over us. I miss the him smell, even though I don't remember him. I curl up close to Mom as I can. The traffic outside is not as loud as usual. Christmas Eve, and I sleep. When I wake in the morning, the street lamp is off. Shadows lie in our cardboard house. I start to wake Mom to say Merry Christmas when I remember the old woman. She's gone. My father's coat is neatly folded. Maybe I'm not that nice because I look quickly to check if the red cookie is still there. It is. The woman hasn't put the wood back to close the door, so I get up and I see a dim figure in the opening. Was she there all the time? It's not the woman, though. It's our angel. It's December. But it can't be. I know I'm dreaming. I rub my eyes and look again, and she's still there. But I can see the calendar page. She's still on our wall, too. How can that be? She takes a step backward, folding her wings like a great shining moth. I sleepwalk to the door. None of this is real, and I know that. It's foggy outside. I look up, and there's our angel, her wings fanned to cover our cardboard house, and she's singing so softly I can barely hear her. My knees are shaking. I need to lean against something, but if I lean against our house, it'll fall down. So I hug my arms around myself and instead watch as the angel pales into the sky and disappears into the morning fog. And everything is still. Whoops, and we've lost our screen. There we go. And everything is still. It's hard for me to put the wood back myself, but I do. Then I crawl in next to Mom again. Was I here beside her all the time, just dreaming about angels? Then why are my feet so cold? Why doesn't the angel only sing when we're asleep? Was I asleep? Oops, excuse me. It's strange how everything started to change for us after that. People would say our luck just turned. Maybe, but I don't think so. Now's another Christmas Eve, and Mom's been working since summer. We have an apartment in the projects 2 floors up with real walls. We have a tiny tree. Its branches have a toy soldier, a silver spoon, the beads I once found on the sidewalk, and the crumbled fake rose. Under the tree is a paper plate with our 2 cookies, red and green. On our crate are the red candle and Mary, the baby, 1 shepherd, 1 sheep, and Joseph. December smiles down at us from her place on the wall. I never noticed until after last Christmas Eve, but if you look really closely, you can see a faded rose in her hair. And that is the book December by Eve Bunting, illustrated by David Diaz. And for this month of mystery, I think this talks about mystery in a really neat way. But what are the mysteries in the book? Is it that there was possibly an angel or some figure there? Is the mystery that we have a society that lets people get to be so poor like that? Or is the mystery that people who had so little to give shared what they have? Thank you. And now we'll sing the kids out. And most of the kids are feeling a little bit nervous today, so Aaron's going to come up with our candle to light it.
Thank you, John. John Austin, our pianist and choir director, and many wonderful things. What? As the ushers circulate our baskets this morning, remember that these walls, these lights, this warmth, the coffee being prepared for us, the chairs supporting you on this earth, all came from financial support from you or those who came before you or those who are seated around you. When you donate in person or online, you ensure that our ministry can continue. And also a reminder that the envelopes in this month's basket enable you to share with UUSC, our charitable partner for the month. for your generosity. We are grateful. Now we'll have Howie Friedman come forward and introduce our guests.
Hi, good morning. Introduction is a little redundant at this point, but anyway, by the way, you might have noticed it says I'm Vanessa, but then again, it wouldn't matter, right? You heard what she said earlier, so I could be Vanessa. You'd be fine with you. Anyway, so I'm going to talk a little bit about Friction Farm, getting a little tongue-tied here, but last year, a little over a year ago, when I came here on a Sunday, and it was like many times, and as Vanessa was saying earlier, it's just such a wonderful feeling in here. It's such a wonderful piece, and a lot of it is because of, as they say in Brooklyn, yous guys. Wonderful group of people here, you know, just loving everything. And I felt like, wow, I want to do something. And I asked Alex, I asked Reverend Bob, and so I wanted to give a present for you guys, and so I asked Christine and Aidan if they could do something for us. Vanessa made it happen. And they came November 6th, which was 2 days before Election Day. And everybody here was like really freaked out. I mean, really freaked out. And Christine, who multiple times told me she was not a minister, reminded me of that. She came up here and did a sermon from her own experience and her own wonderfulness about what you can do, little changes, small changes, that was the theme. And she talked, and all of a sudden I saw people were like suddenly smiling, you know, and that fear was disappearing. I'm being serious here, you know, and I even saw a tear or two. And it was a wonderful experience. Those of you who are here probably remember how great it was. And so, with the help of Vanessa again and the worship committee, they are back again. And we're really happy about that. And so I'm just going to introduce Christine and Aidan. It's the second coming of Friction Farm. And you know I couldn't resist that. And in any case, here they are again, and I think you'll really enjoy. And the theme today, of course, seems to be mystery. So it'll be very mysterious. Thank you. Here they are, Christine.
Today we're going to talk about mystery, wonder, and understanding. And the first mystery I just want to explain is why I'm wearing rain boots, which is because I was just getting from the house to the car, and I have shoes in the car, but I've forgotten to put them on, so have my yellow rubber boots. We've asked Vanessa to do our opening reading.
Yeah, completely forgot that. So sorry. So let's begin by imagining that over us is the sky at night. Deep darkness, sprinkled, punctured with little splinters of stars, which is a great point to start talking about mystery, right? And Christine selected this reading from Ransom Riggs' novel, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Stars, too, were time travelers. How many of those ancient points of light were the last echoes of suns now dead? How many had been born, but their light not yet come this far? If all the suns but ours collapsed tonight, how many lifetimes would it take us to realize we were alone? I had always known the sky was full of mysteries, but not until now had I realized how full of them the earth was.
could see the stars.
At 2 a.m., so many stars.
The sky was dense with glitter. The Milky Way was ours. Now they've taken back their shine,
Left only empty sky behind.
all our artificial light renders us night vision blind.
The last glimpse of infinity flickers, then it's gone. When the last star dies of loneliness, what will we make wishes on? Small towns everywhere we go,
lit up like Times Square and Tokyo,
scattering, reflecting rays that alter rhythms with their glow. The oceans used to seem so vast,
nighttime there was surely last.
but the fishing boats with all their rigging swallowed darkness as they pass. The last glimpse of infinity flickers, then it's gone. When the last star dies of loneliness, what will we make wishes on? Remember we could see the stars at 2 a.m., so many stars. The sky was dense with glitter, the Milky Way was ours. The last glimpse of infinity flickers, then it's gone. When the last star dies of loneliness, what will we make wishes on? What will we make wishes on? What will we make wishes on?
The astronaut, Neil Armstrong, said, "Mystery creates wonder, and wonder is the basis for man's desire to understand." From the beginning, man looked to the skies and marveled at the mystery of the stars, the comets, the planets, the meteors. He wondered at their order and their randomness. Named constellations, gave them origin stories, seeking answers and understanding. As we acquire more and more knowledge and more understanding, new mysteries emerged and created new wonder. A few years back, Aidan and I visited NASA's Goddard Space Center up in Maryland. And we got a backstage tour right when the mirrors and the rocket launcher for the Webb telescope were being assembled in this massive room. The mystery of space created a wonder in so many of us about what else is out there and how it all came to be. And that desire to understand inspired some people way smarter than me to build rockets and telescopes and communication devices. And now the images and the information that is being sent back from the Webb telescope have changed our ideas on planet formation, how chemical elements, the very building blocks of everything that we know and have, it's changed our view on how they're created. Of course, there's many mysteries closer to home. Has anyone read the book, The Hidden Life of Trees? It's by Peter Wolleben, and he just started with his love of forests and the mystery of their lives, and he wondered how they could span for centuries, and saw trees often growing together in groups and growing with other plants in the same repeated combinations. And noticed that those trees seemed to handle stress a little better than a single tree growing in a yard or a field. And he had a desire to understand. And there are a number of scientific studies out there about tree communities that have really changed our fundamental thinking about how plants interact, how they communicate, share nutrients, take on threats together. Suzanne Simard, an ecologist at the University of British Columbia, has measured chemical reactions in trees and how they use an underground network of fungi to transmit chemical signals, measurable chemical changes, not only to their own species, but to other similar trees around them. And she began to wonder why some trees, particularly small trees, thrive and grow, and others don't. And it was a mystery that led her to wonder and seek understanding. And what she found was that trees in cooperation with each other thrived better than those deprived of that shared network. Our questioning minds, and y'all Unitarian Universalists, you know you have very questioning minds. They can inspire in us a desire to understand, and who knows where that could lead.
On a narrow passage just above the James, the first week of November, the leaves were red with change. Bitter wind blew from the east, cold steel through my heart. In a storm of angry voices, how can the healing start? Take comfort from the tall trees, they survive the cold. They can spread their branches because their roots took hold. I will gather up my tools to do the work that must be done. Build a place of refuge where all my friends can come.
They will fill the house with kindness, it will overflow with love. We'll have everything we need to rise above. Take comfort from the tall trees, they survive the cold. They can spread their branches because their roots took hold. In time, all of our neighbors will see what we've created, marvel at what's made by those who loved instead of hated. Will we lock our doors as others once had done, or see they're on a narrow passage, their journey's just begun? Take comfort from the tall trees, they survive the cold. They can spread their branches because their roots took hold. Because their roots took hold. Through the winter and the spring and the summer, we will not fall. We will not fall. Because our roots take hold. We will not fall. We will not fall.
Well, our curious minds can make us wonder about each other, too. And our scientific abilities and observational skills can certainly help us dive into the mysteries of humanity and better understand. And of course we do. We do that. I mean, look at all the advances in medicines, both new and traditional, that stem from our seeking a deeper understanding of how we work. So when I meet someone and I'm mystified at how they could believe that immigrants are a threat to our country, or that women should not have authority over their own bodies, or that our hearts have limits on who we can love, did I wonder at the origin or the basis for those beliefs? No, I did not. Did it spark my desire to understand them better? No, it did not. So I had to ask myself intentionally to be curious, to feel the mystery and the wonder. And it did fuel my desire to gain some understanding if I could. So I went on the internet, as you do, and I sought out articles from neurologists and sociologists and psychologists and any other data-driven source that I could find to help me understand people who think a bit differently than I do. And I know that sounds odd, maybe a little prejudicial, but folks who hold those conservative values, they are different from me. And I believe that that's a very fundamental thing, that they are physiologically and psychologically different. So here's a couple of examples. According to a 2011 study by a guy named Nigel Barber, who has a PhD in evolutionary psychology, self-described liberals have more gray matter in their frontal cortex. And this is a part of the brain that's the key to complexity, conflict monitoring, sensing errors, critical thinking. And self-described conservatives have a larger amygdala, which is associated more with fear and anxiety, self-protection. Now, scientists don't know if that's causal or reactive, chicken or egg. Did their brains develop this way because of who they are, or are they who they are because their brains developed this way? We don't know, but it's measurable at a very early age. In 2017, Dr. Mario Mendez, who's with the neurology department in UCLA, was doing a study of dopamine, which is the neurotransmitter that's associated with pleasure and emotional response. And he wasn't really looking for this, but he found that there's a specific gene encoding certain receptors to dopamine uptake. And they showed variations. That gene showed variations in people with conservative versus liberal personality traits. Okay, the short summary of this very sciencey thing is that conservatives need or want more dopamine, and they have a greater negativity bias associated with that. So people with conservative values get more reward for negative bias than people with liberal values. Genetically, that's a gene-encoded thing. It's not a decision that they're making. It is quite literally who they are, or at least who they've become. And you should know that I went down this tremendous rabbit hole of studies. But for me, just those two things, the brain and the gene associated with dopamine, were a huge step in understanding people who possess a different core value system from my own. I had thought, I really believed that they were just selfish, mean, controlling people. At my very best, I thought they were having a really bad reaction to some hardships in their life. But in fact, they may be psychologically and physiologically different from me. And so for me, that understanding was an important step, but just a step. Because what am I supposed to do with that information? Do I suddenly like my far-right brothers and sisters? I can't. Do I justify their voting records, their right-leaning activism? I can't. Their beliefs and their actions still cause harm to people I love and care about, even if those beliefs and actions have origins in their brain and DNA. So it was a new mystery for me. What was I supposed to do with this understanding? Isn't it interesting how that works? You understand, and it just opens up one more question. So I dug in to understand the new mystery. And I found a great study. So in 2017, 3 social psychologists at Yale did a survey, and they took 2 groups of 150 people each. And about a third of the participants in each group were self-identified as Republicans, and 2/3 were Democrats. So before answering any questions, one group was asked to imagine that they had a superpower. They could fly. And they were asked to picture it, what they would do with that power. And then they were asked some questions about gay rights, immigration, abortion. And that group had responses to the survey that you might expect, falling along their political lines. Now, the second group was also asked to imagine they had a superpower. They were completely physically safe, invulnerable to any harm. And they were asked to think about what that looked like and how that felt and how their lives would be changed. And then that group was asked the same questions about immigration, gay rights, abortion. And that second group had a surprisingly more liberal position on social issues across the board. The conservatives had more liberal answers. Could that even be right? Is that just a testing anomaly? So I dug in to find some sort of confirmation that it could really be that simple. And I found it in a second study. This was a British study, but it again involved questions about immigrants. And in the control group, they were just asked questions. And in the second group, there was a beginning introduction about flu season and the benefits of using hand sanitizer to protect your health. And then the participants were given hand sanitizer, and they used it. And that half, that second group, their responses to the survey showed more compassion towards immigrants. They felt better about immigrants when they felt safer about their own personal health. So it might just be that simple.
Stone by stone, built a wall, placed by hand, 3 feet tall. Keep mine in, keep yours out. Give us both something to worry about. Let the walls stand strong in your field. You know how sheep like to roam. Let the walls stand strong in your field. Keep your trouble at home. Here on this hill, we made a stand. Follow the orders of higher command. 600 years we held the line. Now it's Belfast, Berlin, and Palestine. Let the walls stand strong in your field. You know how sheep like to roam. Let the walls stand strong in your field. Keep your trouble at home. It started with land, things that we found, all we could gather or grow from the ground. Fight for our name, defend our king. I will worship all the petty little things. Let the walls stand strong in your field. You know how sheep like to roam. Let the walls stand strong in your field. Keep your trouble at home. Imagine what might have been, years of peace with no war in between. If we saw the good and the grand, and walls made by other hands, didn't waste our muscle and mind, spend our precious time to burn set cannons upon it. Imagine what would be if we let the walls stand strong in your field. You know how she'd like to roam. Let the walls stand strong in your field. Keep your trouble at home. Let the walls stand strong in your field. You know how she'd like to roam. Let the walls stand strong in your field. Keep your trouble at home.
Mystery, wonder, understanding, and change. I know that change has to come from me. People have core values very different from mine. And rather than viewing them as selfish, greedy, wrong, or mean, and treating them accordingly, what if I treated them as people who feel unsafe and tried to alleviate that just a little bit? What if, instead of storming their walls, I was calmer and kinder? What if I shared some comforting news or found a connection with them before we talked issues? Or maybe we never talk issues. It's a mystery, but it's one that we can come to understand. And who knows what could happen then? So I have a question for you. It says here, closing hymn. We've had an awful lot of music, but you haven't really had that much opportunity to sing. Would you like to sing? All right, we're just going to do this a cappella. Do you know the song Over My Head?
Over my head,
Over my head,
I hear music in the air.
I hear music in the air.
Over my head,
Over my head,
I hear music in the air.
I hear music in the air.
Over my head,
Over my
I
head,
hear music in the air.
I hear music in the air. There must be a God somewhere. Over my head,
over my head,
I hear singing in the air.
I hear singing in the air.
Over my head,
over my head,
I hear singing in the air.
I hear singing in the air.
Over my head,
over my head,
I hear singing in the air.
I hear singing in the air. There must be a God somewhere.
Over my head,
Over my head,
I hear trouble in the air.
I see trouble in the air.
Over my head,
Over my head,
I see trouble in the air.
I see trouble in the air.
Over my head,
Over my head,
I see trouble in the air.
I see trouble in the air.
There must be a God somewhere. Over my head, I feel gladness in the air. Over my head,
Over my head,
I feel gladness in the air.
gladness in the air.
Over my head, I feel gladness in the air. There must be a God somewhere. Over my head, I see angels in the air.
Over my head,
I see angels in the air.
I see angels in the air.
Over my head,
Over my head,
I see angels in the air.
I see angels in the air.
There must be a God
somewhere.
Do some closing words before we sing you out. And my first closing words are thank you. Thank you so much for being here and listening to me ad-lib some things that I'm interested in. Philosopher Carl Jung said, "The right question is already half the solution to a problem." You know, the universe is so much bigger than our ability to comprehend. But if we are humbled by its mysteries, and if we give in to our sense of awe and wonder about them, we can ask why, and slowly but steadily grow our understanding. You know, the universe is not just the stars. It's our planet as well. And the planet isn't just bees, trees, or the changing breeze. It's us. It's all of us. Give in to our mystery. Start to wonder. Ask some questions. I hope you will gain broader understanding. Thank you. There's coffee out there. There's probably snacks out there. And we're going to sing out.
Did you ever think that there'd be days like this? Standing at your front door, trying to get a grip on the way the world's been torn into bits. Doesn't seem to be a place where you still fit, but everything'll be alright. Everything'll be alright. You got friends all around you. Everything'll be alright. Everything'll be alright. Let the light of love surround you. You stand still, just don't know what to do. Every move just sends you in an endless loop. You're wrong no matter what you do. You didn't mean to break them, but someone changed the rules. But everything'll be alright. Everything'll be alright. You got friends all around you. Everything'll be alright. Everything'll be alright. Let the light of love surround you. Oh, the wind may not be at your back today, but any minute now, the weather's gonna break. Like time and tide, we were built for change. Step outside, don't be afraid. Everything'll be alright. Everything'll be alright. You got friends all around you. Everything'll be alright. everything will be alright. Let the light of love surround you.